It was just an ordinary night, or at least I thought so. I had just gotten out of the shower and was relaxing in my room when I suddenly felt like I was being watched. I turned toward the window, and to my shock, there were two figures outside, staring directly at me. They didn't look human. Their large glowing eyes, silver skin, and long flowing white hair gave them an eerie but captivating appearance. Frozen in place, I suddenly realized I was completely naked. My mind raced as I fumbled for something to cover myself, but before I could do anything, their expressions shifted from shock to a strange curiosity. These weren't just random people, they were aliens. Still in a state of disbelief, I quickly grabbed a towel to cover myself. My heart was racing. Who were these girls? How did they get here? More importantly, why were they staring at me? One of them slowly raised her hand and pressed it against the glass of the window. Her eyes locked onto mine, almost as if she was trying to communicate. But before I could react, a faint buzzing noise filled the air. It was coming from their direction. Were they trying to talk to me telepathically? Panic overtook me as I pulled the blinds down, blocking their view. But something told me this encounter was far from over. Moments later, there was a strange knocking at my door. I hadn't even processed what just happened, but my instincts kicked in. Could it be them? My heart pounded as I cautiously approached the door, my mind screaming not to open it. But against my better judgment, I did. Standing there on my front porch were the two alien girls. They looked just as confused as I felt. One of them, the taller one, raised her hand again, but this time I felt a calming energy wash over me. "We didn't mean to frighten you," she spoke softly in perfect English. I was too stunned to speak. What was going on? The taller alien, who introduced herself as Zalara, explained that they had landed on Earth by accident. They were twins, explorers from a distant planet, and had been observing humans for research. "We didn't know this was your private moment," Zalara apologized awkwardly, her eyes flickering with a strange light. Her sister, Mira, looked more curious than apologetic. I didn't know what to say. They seemed genuine, but I couldn't shake the surreal feeling. Aliens, right in front of me, apologizing for seeing me naked. This had to be some kind of dream, right? After some hesitation, they asked if they could come inside. Apparently, their spaceship had malfunctioned, and they needed help. Despite the odd circumstances, I was intrigued and agreed. As soon as they stepped in, I felt an odd sense of connection with them, as if they weren't as alien as they appeared. They looked around my home with fascination, touching everyday objects like they had never seen anything like them before. Mira giggled as she picked up a coffee mug, turning it upside down, clearly not understanding its use. Despite everything, I couldn't help but laugh too. Sitting on my couch, the twins started to explain more about themselves. They came from a planet far away, where physical appearance didn't matter like it did on Earth. Their society was based on mental and emotional connection, which explained why they seemed so nonchalant about accidentally seeing me naked earlier. Zalara mentioned that their spaceship had run into technical problems, and they had been stuck on Earth for a few days, trying to avoid humans. But when they saw me, something about my energy had drawn them in. It was unlike anything they had felt before. As the night went on, I started to feel more comfortable with them. Their presence was strangely calming, almost hypnotic. Zalara and Mira were unlike any humans I had ever met, yet there was something deeply relatable about them. We started sharing stories, me about my life on Earth and them about their planet. Their home was a place where emotions were shared openly, without judgment. Relationships were different there, based on pure connection rather than physical appearance. It made me think deeply about my own world and how we humans often judge each other. As the night deepened, something strange began to happen. Mira, who had been quieter throughout the conversation, suddenly stood up. Her eyes glowed brighter, and she touched her sister's arm. "We need to leave soon," she said in a serious tone. Zalara's expression shifted, and she nodded. But before they could leave, Mira looked at me and said, "You're more connected to us than you think. There's a reason we found you." A chill ran down my spine. What did she mean? Before I could ask, a loud rumble echoed outside. The rumbling grew louder, and I rushed to the window. Outside, their spaceship had reappeared, hovering just above my backyard. Lights flashed, and the ship's metallic surface shimmered under the night sky. Solara and Mira exchanged glances. "Our ship is fixed," Solara said softly, "but there's something else." I could feel the tension rising. The twins walked towards the door, and I followed, unsure of what was about to happen. As they stepped outside, Mira turned back to me, her eyes glowing with intensity. Mira's words echoed in my mind. "You're more connected to us than you think." She raised her hand toward me, and suddenly, I felt a strange energy surge through my body. Images flashed in my mind, memories I didn't recognize, of places I had never been. It was like I was seeing their world, their lives, through their eyes. Then it hit me. Somehow, in this bizarre encounter, I had become linked to them. Solara smiled, as if she knew all along. "You're part of our journey now." As the spaceship descended, Solara and Mira invited me aboard. It felt like I was at a crossroads, stay on Earth and continue my normal life, or embark on an unknown adventure with these alien twins. The idea was terrifying, yet thrilling. Before I could make a decision, the ship's door opened, and a soft glow illuminated the night. Mira smiled. "We'll be back. We always come back." With that, they stepped inside, and the ship began to rise. I watched in awe as the spaceship disappeared into the night sky, leaving behind only a faint trail of light. Everything felt surreal. Had it all really happened? The connection, the revelations, it was almost too much to process. But deep down, I knew that this wasn't the end. I could still feel the strange energy pulsing through me, a reminder that I was now linked to something far greater than myself. I had no idea what the future held, but one thing was certain: I would never be the same. Days passed, and I couldn't shake the feeling that they would return. Every night, I found myself staring at the sky, waiting for a sign. The experience had changed me in ways I couldn't fully understand yet. I was no longer just an ordinary person. Whether I liked it or not, I was connected to Solara and Mira, and their world was now a part of mine. The question was, what would happen when they came back? And was I ready for whatever came next?